Hi everybody. So this is I had just made a video on Ozempic face, and now I want to talk about my change in medication, my intention of my change in medication. And I've probably spoke about that in one of my other videos. Unfortunately, to me, they're so mangled that I figured I'll just do more precise ones now. So anyway, so I'm on Ozempic 2.0, and I've been on for quite some time. I think I started in 2022. It was definitely still during COVID. And when I went to the endocrinologist, I wasn't even aware. Back then, Ozempic wasn't a thing like the way it is now. And so anyway, so I started out, and I started out with the smallest dose, the 0.25, and I definitely got side effects. Queasiness, kind of felt like I was on a cruise ship at at the front of the boat, hitting all the waves. And but that subsided after like the first day, that night to the morning. And that's my suggestion, is if you're starting Ozempic or any of those medications, I can't really speak for the other ones because I haven't taken them, but just in my experience, to avoid some of the side effects, I felt like it was better to take them at nighttime so you can kind of sleep off, or at least lay in bed and suffer a little bit more comfortably until your body adjusts to the medication. So anyway, so yes, I was on Ozempic. I started with 0.25, worked my way up. It didn't take very long, and that's the thing. When you go from 0.25 to 0.50, which, is a big difference, you're only doing the 0.25 for 4 weeks, and then you're doing the 0.50, and then you can move up to 0.75, I believe. I didn't. I went 0.25, 0.50, 1, and then from 1 you make the jump to 2. And those are how the pens are made. So I don't think you can do something like 1.50 unless you want to work 2 different pens at the same time, or because you can click it, I guess you could adjust it, but then you're going to have left over in your pen, and you're going to have to work it out with the next pen. It just sounds too confusing, and not even confusing, but just too involved. So anyway, I'm on Ozempic. I've been on Ozempic 2.0, and even when I lost weight, so I'm just about at 80 pounds. I fluctuate a little bit here and there depending on what's around on the table. But for the most part, I kind of did more of a slow and steady, especially for the last, I would say, 40 pounds. A lot of it was unconscious weight loss, I have to say that. And I think it's that way for most people. You just find yourself not hungry, so you wind up munching on less, that kind of thing. But I don't know. I know that there are some people who make a conscious effort to put in more energy, either by exercise or lowering their calories, in addition to the medication, which, I mean, that in itself, you can't say it's a bad thing. But for other people, depending on the weight you're starting with, your physical mobility, and your age, the reality of being able to constitute all those things is not as common as a young person who has their mobility. Their knees are good, their, back, neck, spine. That's some of the problems I have. Those kind of things, not to mention medications that, or things that people might have, neurologically or physically, again, that limit them from what they're able to do. I'm going to refer back to My 600-Pound Life again. Dr. Now has in his book, simple chair exercises, holding a can and lifting it for weights, and whatever else he has people doing. I just see it on his show. And I mean, I guess those things are helpful. Personally, I think it depends on, again, your mobility. If you're able to get up and go to work, or move around to go shopping, I think you probably get more exercise in by walking around in the supermarket than you would by sitting in a chair lifting a can, back and forth. But I mean, it can't hurt. Anything is better than nothing, right? So anyway, so I've been on the 2.0 now for quite some time, well over a year. And when I started making my videos, my intent was, again, still to continue slow and steady, stay on Ozempic, and then hopefully get to the point that I needed to be, and then maintenance. Haven't lost anything. Now, my appetite is, again, like I started out saying, those people on My 600 Pound Life, those foods that they show, especially in the beginning, the quantity of food, it's all for TV. Those people don't sit there and eat a loaf of bread, French toast bread, or I have a pop-up coming up on my screen. I'm not sure if it's going to interrupt or not, but I'm going to just leave it. So anyway, those people don't really eat like that. And if you think about the cost of what it would be if they ate like that every day, a dozen eggs for breakfast and a loaf of bread, a pound of bacon, come on. They can't afford that. You can tell by looking at their living arrangements that the majority of them can't afford to eat like that. I believe that they eat unhealthy food. I believe that they eat more than they should eat. I believe that they are very sedentary, and I believe that their drinks have a lot to do with it, what they consume as opposed to water. And I am super guilty of that. As I sit here speaking to you, I have my go-to of Diet Coke, and this is a curse that I'm doing right now because I'm talking about it and I need to drink it, right? But from what I see, soda is the absolute enemy. It doesn't matter if it's diet or if it's regular, regular sugar. It's the enemy. And the majority of people, my niece had said to me many years ago, why is it that all the, in her words, fat people drink diet soda? And I mean, you'll be at McDonald's, let's say, and buy one of their god-awful meals, but with a Diet Coke, right? And so I had said to her, I said, well, I guess, in one way, at least it's less calories, right? But I don't really know why. And I kind of do know why. It's the chemicals, because from what they say, all of this is basically pure chemicals. But I have a feeling that they make you so addicted. I mean, I'm addicted to the point, God forgive me because I have to drink it again. They say it doesn't quench your thirst, which I guess it doesn't. And it is addicting. And I think, I always say, oh, it's the caffeine for me. I don't drink coffee, only drink tea if I'm sick. And, that's my caffeine. So I call it my gasoline in the morning, right? Not even in the morning, throughout the day. And I've been told over and over again, to knock it off. And I've been drinking it for years and years. So the correlation between obesity and, I'll definitely say, diet soda seems to be pretty strong, just from watching everyone in My 600 Pound Life has a big drink with them, and the majority of the times that I know of, it's diet soda. And like I said, they are not consuming the amount of food that they show on the TV show. They are not. And I've watched and heard about how production not just encourages them, but in the very beginning, there's a couple of things, that shower scene and the ridiculous amount of foods, and for them to eat as though, every meal is not only their last, but as though they haven't eaten in, a year. But I just wanted to, I was talking about Ozempic, I'm sorry. And so anyway, so for the past year, I have not really had the scale move. It's been the same fluctuation, let's say 5 pounds here and there. And and so I'm at the point where I'll never say I'm disappointed with Ozempic, because I'm not. And I know that there was controversy originally about it being for diabetics. And I've never been diabetic or pre-diabetic. I do have some autoimmune issues. Regardless of whatever my issues were, My endocrinologist, prescribed it for me. He's not a quack. I took the medication and I had positive results. But it seems to me now that I've neared the end of Ozempic because it, there's no reason for me to take it if I'm not losing weight as a side effect of it. Again, because I've never had diabetes, and so I don't need my blood sugar to be leveled, and or whatever it does, reduced, lowered. Um, so I'm looking at something else. I'm not sure if I already said it on this video or not, but I'm going to make my next video and explain all of that. So anyway, that's just my update with Ozempic. I know I'm going at the 11-minute mark, and I wanted to keep these short, so I'm going to end this one.